American, I'm Chicano. I need to move back to, to Aztlan, to San Antonio, because there's a lot of cultural adjusting needs to be done down here. And I came back
We're going to come back to that term when we finish looking at the images.
I came back for La Reconquista, basically. I think it's real important that, San Antonio be seen as what it really is, which is a, Mexican-American city, even though people don't even like to use that word, but it, it's just, I think it's great, What's better than having two cultures, but having three cultures,
Okay, so moving back into the artwork here, bicultural, speaking of two cultures, right. Bicultural table setting, so what are the two cultures here?
What's the American and the Mexican side, so the combination, the plate going around.
And now there's a new element, the remote control. How did that get in there?
Well, because of course, my tabletops have to refer to the whole tradition of still lifes. So, of course, they're flattened up, like an aerial view. This is just one place setting. And the tablecloth is divided into two. It's kind of like the right side is the American side, very technological, and you can't really tell very well, but the red hand has a computer watch on it. The left side is more organic and has an old-fashioned watch, and the utensils are more traditional. The right side are more contemporary. The plate is spinning, and there's a personage made out of barcodes, with shopping, everybody likes shopping and consuming. So that's going around there. And the three tomatoes, which are a pre-Columbian product, the tomato, and the position of the proton. And this piece actually is on the cover of a book, a Chicano reader used at universities, and it's been reproduced, 4 times actually.
And here's the work in our collection, Black Hole. I'll let you talk about the iconography this time. I've written about it.
Again, the gingham tablecloth, because I want to make sure that it's recognizable as a table, since it is twisted and turned so much.
Is that the same kind of tablecloth you remember as a kid?
No, not necessarily. No. It was just a stereotypical, like a checkerboard that anybody can understand. A lot of people say, oh, it's Italian, but Italian-American, you don't see them in Italy. But you see them in southern restaurants and country places. It's pretty common. There's so many different variations of it, different colors, but red is the most common. And then the universe, picture of the universe, and kind of all swirling together. The plates are my dishware from Mexico, but on each plate is a genome, is chromosomes with a little person in them. And so in other words, saying that each plate is for an individual, person.
And black hole, of course, is a scientific term.
Well, black hole is a scientific term, but it's also, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And then, there's no mistake that the chicken is positioned this way towards us. So that's part of it, too.
Now, this is one of the first times you've actually used digital technology to make your work, correct?
All right, This is the first one.
This is the very first one. Okay, so tell us how you did that.
With great difficulty. I thought it would be very easy. It's not. It's very hard, because in my mind I have something that I want. I say, well, can't you make that universe spin or something? Or I had to hire someone to help me. I just couldn't do it. It's just.
Did you use Photoshop?
Photoshop, yeah, it's all on Photoshop. Yeah, we took pictures. Al Rondon and myself took pictures of all, the tablecloth, the universe, the chicken, the plates, the chromosomes, the utensils, the remote control, separately, and then it was like a collage, kind of like, mix and match. Twist and turn and add stars, and that was the beginning. That's still what I'm doing.
And then where was it printed?
With Chuck Mauer at Alternative Ink.
Here
I'm still
in San
working
Antonio.
with him here in San Antonio. Yeah, he's very good.
So for those who want to work in digital media, you can do that here in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, I call him the color king. You need to pick up that color, he can do it. So.
Okay, then another series started to happen in the late 90s, and you continued into the early 2000s. You started making sculptures out of food this time, your tortilla towers. So you've got the Tower of Life and Twin Tortilla Towers. It's obvious Twin Tortilla Towers references 9/11, but talk about each. What led you to do these? Where did the idea come to work with tortillas as an artist medium? And the first one too, what were the issues you were addressing?
The issues, I've made several buildings in Texas, and the idea being, well, I saw this, there's a small monument in front of City Hall here that's given by, I don't know where in Mexico, anyway, to the city of San Antonio. It's a small obelisk with 2 eagles, and the writing on it says something about remembering that Texas' mother country is Mexico. And it's true. I mean, all of Texas culture, the cowboy, chili, the food, the hats, the boots, the longhorn, it's all originally Mexican. So, but it's all, the history books don't talk about any of that stuff. And to me, that's, I feel it's like part of my reconquista to come back and use that as a topic. And so the idea is that the bricks and mortar of Texas, and that San Antonio, that's a Tower of Life building, so I call it Tower of Life. The bricks and mortar are Mexico, so I decided to make it out of tortillas, which is the base, the basic staple of Mexican food and culture and civilization. So they're made out of tortillas, and the harina and maize, and has paint, and it's covered with a chili patina. The one on the right side I did for Dia de los Muertos, and I decided to do a memorial for all of the, I call them the children of the corn culture, who perished in the World Trade Center, being undocumented immigrants. On all the food workers, bus boys, not servers, but the bus boys and all, everybody in the kitchen, they're from Mexico, in New York. And nobody even knows them. They just disappeared, and nobody heard anything, nobody knew anything about them. So I decided to there's 600 tortillas in that one there. And covered in chili too. And
then you have your Masa Alamo.
Yes, this is a play on words, because it's Masa Alamo, because it's made out of masa. But again, referring to the idea of that the bricks, the mortar, the basic stuff of the Alamos, like the so-called shrine of Texas liberty. But they ignored the fact that it's constructed by the ancestors of Mexican Americans, that it was that was the mestizaje that happened. The Spanish, Native American, and Mexican culture was already present when this was founded. And but if you go down to the Alamo, you would never know that, because they started 1836. They forget about the first 25 years, and which is a travesty. I just think that it's just, I think it's like so important to I think it's the obligation of poets and artists, and especially of Mexican American descent, to deal with this issue. Plus, it's fertile ground for art. Two cultures, and here's a story that has not been told. Now after minimalism and conceptualism, now it seems like a narrative is coming back in art. And for Mexican Americans, I think it's, especially if you're from San Antonio and South, and you don't deal with this, I almost think it has to be like a conscious effort not to deal with it. How can you deal with this? It's just such an issue that is untold story, and it's a hidden story. It's something that's ignored, and it's so fundamental to Texas and culture. It's just so that's why the Alamo is más Alamo. It's more Alamo when it's inclusive of all those things. That's why it's más Alamo. Es más Alamo, so it's a play on words too.
Okay, and now we saw how a decade earlier you had done your first public artwork, but in the past few years, it seems like you've had several opportunities and have successfully actually produced a number of major public artworks, including this work at the called Macro Micro. We talked about Micro Macro earlier on, how that's been an ongoing interest of yours. At the Austin Convention Center. How did this opportunity come your way?
This one I applied for, and I got it. It's they're the giclées, the giant prints on paper, and it's 303 feet long. And so in the bottom picture, in the distance, you see it's just a section of a spiral galaxy, and it has like the next one is a brain, because it's an Austin, so I had to refer to music somehow. So I didn't want to do, like musical, notes in the landscape. That'd be like, Sound of Music, really corny. So I did a PET scan of a brain listening to music, and it has like an oscilloscope in between. So the colors from the the spiral galaxy turned into, audio. And then I have, there's genes floating in outer space. There's different, small elements. There's a virus there, and then the sun, and there's different elements in DNA. And so it's small elements, largest elements, and then how that relates to culture. That's why the pyramid is there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then in 2004, you created a work for Trinity University, the Learning Tree.
Right.
Obviously an appropriate subject for a university.
Well, they gave you that. Again, I was selected to do this, and they give you, there was a theme, education, which is like,
okay.
Oh my God, it's like, what are you going to do, like an
So it
owl
may be a
with
little hard to see
graduation
what's
cap?
happening there. So you want to explain a little bit more clearly what we're looking at?
Yeah, well, I read all these books, and I decided I had to like come up with something new. I mean, one thing that I'm really a firm believer is not repeating other things, try to, new imagery.
That's what artists do, right? They
Yeah,
find new ways of seeing.
Right, the same old thing, right? But so the learning tree, so the roots are about 6 feet tall, and it's a waterfall too. The water's behind it. It's 5,000 pounds of bronze. So the roots are all gnarly, and then the way the tree grows sort of wavers, and then it branches off. So it kind of could be a metaphor for different branches of education, and then it turns into spirals, and just the whole tree really takes off and grows. The water behind it is part of the element. On top, there's clouds, and then the light coming through is and there's rays of light coming through. So a total ecological picture there, and then just the growth of the tree would be the symbol for learning.
And the building's open. People can go and see this.
Yes, anytime. It's in a new building by Robert Stern. It's at the new administration building, Northrop Hall. Mm-hmm. If you park at the Alamo Stadium, you'll see like a stepped waterfall, a Sequoia type fountain going into this building, and so it's a beautiful building with water on the outside, on both sides of it, continuing from this waterfall.
And there's also a little kiosk, is there not, with a video of you?
Yes, there's a little kiosk that has a little story
Talking
by
about
me.
the work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So it's wonderful that they've done that. Now, moving along, you, in 2005, completed yet another work for an airport, this time in Houston. You want to tell us a little bit about this work, Galaxy Way?
Yeah, well, this was great. I got this phone call, and they said, "Do you want to do a project?" And I go, "I'm really busy working in Austin." They go, "Yeah, we know, but..."
Was this as a direct result of the Austin
They
project?
just called me up, I was like...
Who's they?
The public art program in Austin. I mean, in Houston.
Okay.
And I said, "Well, how much is the budget?" They go, I said, "Sign me up." So it's like, I'll work triple time, So
I hear they have money in Houston, right?
They do, I can tell you. Now, these are protostars. It's a new discovery by Hubble of pre-stars in their gaseous stages. And this is the pictorialization of them.
And where did you learn of them?
National Geographic.
Because you don't read scientific journals,
National Geographic. Pedestrian, scientific stuff.
Right.
So this is out of plastic, plexiglass. I had to build a form, and then with a vacuum they suck down the plastic, which is cut out, and then has the little insets, and it just melts into this form.
And how many feet, or yards, or miles, or it's pretty extensive, isn't it?
It's 134 feet. Yeah, it's on the elevated train of in Houston Intercontinental. I don't like to use 4-letter words, but you know the name of it. But it's in the new elevated train, not the underground train, the elevated train, and it's the train comes every 3 minutes. So even if you're there and you have to have a ticket, it's in a safe area.
How does it feel, to have a work that is seen by that many people?
Great.
Do you ever sit and think about that? Speaking of microcosm, macrocosm.
I'm always so busy.
Thousands of people daily are
I love it. I think it's wonderful. And then I have them change the floor to white terrazzo from gray, and so especially in the height of the summer, like now, you can see this color reflecting on the floor. But that airport is, it's beautiful, but it's all gray, white, aluminum, glass, and white. That was it. And so, gotta add some color, So plus, it's in the place where most of the international traffic is from Latin America, and Houston is known for NASA. So I had to make a connection. I had to make a connection with your public art, and would be the people coming from Latin America, get off and see this, symbology of a discovery from NASA, something, real contemporary and futuristic. So that's what I tried to do.
And this is your most recent, I believe, public artwork?
Yes, until they build the airport here in San Antonio, which who knows when that'll be. But this is a parking garage for a hotel and convention center of Frisco, which is outside of Dallas.
Oh.
And there's 12 of these different drawings of stars from deep space. Actually, I have these books from Hubble, and I actually look into the pictures and look at stars that I like and do drawings of them. And that's what this comes from.
And I'm sorry. Oh, it's painted iron.
It's just steel, yeah, iron.
Yeah. Did you use the computer at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be these things would be impossible without a computer.
Yeah.
All because of the scale of them. They send you the architectural plans. I blow them up as big as I can, and then I draw right into the space where because they tell you where they want, in this case, where they want the art. So, yeah, and then by computer they blow up the whole thing.
And how did you get this project? Was this one by application or invitation?
Yeah, I applied.
You applied? Okay, so you've actually done a number of, and as you say, what are you working on for the airport? What is that one going to be?
Here in San Antonio?
Yeah.
I'm designing the concourse, and I'm putting these, the idea that I have for San Antonio is the idea of portals, a doorway, the airport being a doorway to San Antonio. So we have a lot of beautiful buildings in San Antonio, old and new, the missions and mission revival style buildings and the contemporary ones. And I'm taking pictures of different portals and lintels, and then that will be, the lintels will be in the glass all along the total length of the new terminal. And then at the end will be a giant doorway, like 22 feet by 14 feet. And it'll be a translucent color, I think like yellow-orange. So it'll kind of glow. And then you see it from the outside at night, it should glow too. And the idea being, entranceways, doorways. And I want to put the name of each, beautiful doorways. There's so many undiscovered, gorgeous buildings in San Antonio not appreciated. So it'll have the name there. So you can, if you're hanging around the terminal, you can go around.
What's the